As President Obama embarks on day 2 of his latest bus tour, he is getting hammered by Republicans. Senator Mitch McConnell had this to say just a couple of moments ago.
Well, the states got another bailout. The unemployment rate didn't budge. And now the president's riding around on a bus saying if they don't get another one, teachers, police, and firefighters will lose their jobs again.
NBC News political reporter Domenico Montanaro joins me now from Washington. You know, Domenico, the other side always accuses the sitting president of taking time away from running the country to campaign. But unemployment is higher than the national average in North Carolina, where he is this morning. His job approval rating there is low, struggled to win it in 2008. So what's the strategy in going to states like North Carolina and Virginia?
Well, look, North Carolina and Virginia are key states that President Obama won in 2008. He won North Carolina narrowly with just 14,000 votes. Consider this. If President Obama were to win Virginia or North Carolina, either of the two, he could lose Ohio, lose Florida, and a host of other states and still get to 270. So these are really key, important states with a lot of votes that President Obama wants to do well in. But remember, North Carolina, it's going to be an uphill climb. His numbers with independents upside down. And, he's on this tour trying to fire up the base and get them ready to go for 2012.
Well, let's talk a little bit about independents, because they obviously are the ones that put him over the top in 2008. Quinnipiac poll in Virginia, 39% favorability rating with independents, but 53% unfavorable. And I think in battleground states across the country, he's been losing independents probably since 2009, the whole health care debate. So what's the strategy for getting beyond that?
Well, the president's really trying to sell that jobs bill, as we've seen him go across the country, something to run on. And he also has something he thinks to run against. The White House is going to set up Republicans in Congress and say they're trying to block this. As Mitch McConnell talked about with teachers, there have been quite a few teachers across states as states deal with budgets. Remember, a lot of states have balanced budget amendments, which means that they need to cut however they can to balance that budget. And a lot of teachers have been laid off. So the president is trying to take something in this jobs bill and say, look, teachers, emergency responders could be laid off. They want to make that piecemeal, pass that through Congress, and get that done. Run on that plan and against Republicans who are blocking that in Congress.
All right, we just saw video of the president getting on his bus, and that whole bus has become an issue with the Republicans. We heard McConnell just mention it. Here's what John McCain had to say yesterday.
I must say again, I've never seen an uglier bus than the Canadian one. He's traveling around on a Canadian bus touting American jobs.
All right. What's the reality check behind those statements?
Well, the shell of the bus, as I understand it, this came up during the Midwest bus tour earlier this year, is made in Canada. Now, look, these calls go beyond the White House and with the Secret Service. The Secret Service are the ones who say we need to get this. Here's the protection the president needs. Here's what he needs. It certainly looks imposing. It's this large black bus, much bigger than something that they're going to see in those parts of the country. But the Secret Service makes those calls, and I'm sure people would talk a lot differently about this, if something actually happened to one of our leaders. And not to mention, I think I'd seen a story earlier this year that said that the Republican nominee would likely get a similar bus. So, this is something that's going to come up every time there's a bus tour, but there's probably not a whole lot to it.
Yeah, because the nominee gets a Secret Service protection as well. So we'll see what they have to say when the Republican is riding around in the exact same bus. Domenico, thank you. Good to see you.
Hey, thanks, Chris.